Hi friends, welcome to part 34 of the Revelation prophecy. I'm Jack. This one is called the Great Hall. Let's begin Revelation chapter 17 verse 1. And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great hall that sitteth upon many waters. John was invited by a servant of Christ who will execute the wrath of God in the seven last plagues. And he invited John to come and see the great whore, the great prostitute. A woman in prophecy is symbolic of a church. The woman in this case, being called the great whore, is the church of Satan. In spiritual things, there are only two churches, the church of God or the church of Christ, and the church of Satan. Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore. I'm going to show you what's going to happen to her and how she will be punished. I'll show you her judgment. And then he said, of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. The meaning of the many waters is given in Revelation chapter 17 verse 15. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So she sits upon the nations, kindreds, and tongues and multitudes. They support her. Revelation chapter 17 verse 2. With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. The kings of the earth, worldly leaders, commit fornication, unlawful union with the church of Satan, the great whore. And as a result, the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of a fornication. As the result of that union with the kings of the earth, there comes forth the lies of a fornication, which makes everyone who believes in them drunk, spiritually drunk. Turn with me to the book of Revelation chapter 13 to see the kings of the earth. Verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. This one we identify to be a false prophet, beast, empire. The two horns are the kings, two kings, and the beast shown to come from the earth, the kings of the earth. A false prophet empire that will commit fornication and unlawful union with a great whore, the church of Satan. Verse 12, Revelation 13. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him. Now the first beast is the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. And in a few verses down in chapter 17, we are going to see that the great whore actually sits, reigns, rules over the beast empire with 7 heads and 10 horns. And so this second beast, the beast from the earth, the kings of the earth, exercise all the power of the first beast before him, and cause the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. These are the lies of fornication. When they are turned to worship God, to worship the beast, spiritual fornication. Verse 13, and he do great wonders, so that he make fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Verse 14, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. That's fornication, make an image of the beast. Verse 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. The worship of the beast and the worship of its image, spiritual fornication. Those who believe in this will be made drunk. And then in verse 16, the third thing that this false prophet beast will do, and he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, a microchip, which contains the details of every individual, and without it one will not be able to buy or sell. Back to Revelation chapter 17. Let's read verse 2 again, talking about the great whore, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. They've united fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth, those who dwell upon the earth, have been made drunk with the wine of a fornication, the lies of a fornication, the worship of the beast, the image, and the receiving of the mark in the right hand or in the forehead. Verse 3, those things, those deeds are what earns the wrath of God in the 7 last plagues, which we have read about. Verse 3, chapter 17, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman. Yes, this is a woman, the great whore, carried away into the wilderness, a spiritual wilderness, a wilderness of sin. And there is the woman, and she is seated upon a scarlet-colored beast, that is a beast that is red, full of names of blasphemy, the same beast we saw in Revelation chapter 13 verse 1, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Let's just be reminded again. Chapter 13 verse 1, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. We identify this beast empire to be a European empire, and this particular one rising from the sea, the 6th head empire. Now the power is transferred from the 10 kings or the 10 horns of this empire to the church of Satan, who's identified or noted by the mouth that was given unto the beast. The church of Satan will be the mouthpiece of the beast, will be the voice of the beast. Of course she will be. She rides the beast. Verse 5, Revelation 13, and there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2 months. The mouth, the great whore, the church of Satan. And John was carried into the wilderness, and he saw this woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Verse 4, Revelation 17, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. She is very rich, super rich. Then having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations, filthiness of her fornication, her lies. And the very essence of her lives in the fulfillment of the Revelation prophecy, the worship of the beast and the image and the receiving of the mark, which the false prophet, the kings of the earth, will enforce. Verse 5, Revelation 17, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery. Her name is the spirit that she has, the spirit of secretiveness, mystery, deception, darkness, lies, and the mystery Babylon the Great. Babylon, that actual city, historical city. The spirit of Babylon will be in this church, the church of Satan, the spirit of pride. She's also known as the mother of harlots. She has a lot of children. They all prostitutes too. Prostitute churches. She's the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth, and the source of all fornication and lies and abominations, things which God hates and are disgusting. Revelation 17 verse 6, And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of saints and with the blood of martyrs of Jesus. She will be responsible for the killing of the saints and the martyrs. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration, that is, with great amazement. Then in verse 7, and the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman, and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns, and that will be revealed in our next lesson.